And a very good morning, Devils fans, to you guys, as the Devils have probably one of their most dominant wins yet of the season with a 5-2 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. So, lots and lots of good stuff to talk about in this one. One caveat of a bad thing I do want to cover, but let's start from the top of the game. Montreal, I think, did control play for the first about 5-7 minutes or so. And VTech kept us in it. I think it's going to be overshadowed a little bit, but VTech had a fantastic game. Otherwise, this might not have worked out exactly as it ended up. As Montreal, I think, actually had quite a few really good chances, mostly off of all tips right in the slot. Guys just kind of passing it across the ice. Nice tips, deflections right on net on VTech. He made multiple blocker, pad, glove saves, just keeping things out and away. We obviously know we've once again had the first goal scored against us. Still, every game this season have not scored the first goal, but VTech had made a fantastic stop, another kick pad save out, and unfortunately, it went perfectly directly to a Montreal Canadien who was able to pot the first goal. And even though VTech was pretty close of getting over, it was a wide open net, and he did not miss. Really, from that point on, though, the Devils completely took over the game. Now, on the whole, I think we still did outplay them in the first period. We had tons of fantastic chances. Um, Montreal's goaltender, whose name I cannot pronounce, and I got assumed the wrong starter in the preview yesterday, but um, he made the fantastic diving save against Palat there. And at that moment, I know a lot of Devils fans were like, "Oh, are we going to get goalied by a dude that probably shouldn't even be in the NHL right now?" But that did not turn out to be the case, as we were continuously unrelenting there in the first period. And we found ourselves on the power play. Like I said, Montreal, one of the most penalized teams in the league. We got on the power play, and while technically that Holtz goal is not going to be counted towards the power play statistics, as they reiterated on the broadcast multiple times, it came within a second or two of the power play expiring, so the guy had just taken a step out of the box. So it was really a 5-on-4 situation where the second unit with Holtz was able to pot it in. Another Timo Meyer assist, who really seems to have found his stride, not just on that second power play unit, but with Jack's line with Toffoli as well, because his hit, although he does not get credited with an assist on the play, um, caused the Montreal defender to panic with the puck, make a terrible pass, was intercepted by Jack, flings it over to Toffoli, absolute snipe to put us up 2-1 as well. From there, again, the power play continued to just cook. In the second period, we really took over, guys. I mean, it was probably the most dominant period of the season so far. I don't think Montreal had a single second to breathe in that entire frame. Completely controlled the pace of play. The only thing that we really didn't do for the first 18 some minutes of that period was actually score off of all the chances we did generate. So that was a little frustrating, but I'm not a results based analysis guy. It really is about the actual flow of play and how you're controlling it and what you're actually doing on the ice. And in that second period, it really started in the second half of the first, but then carried on straight through the entire second period, where we dominant. I mean, absolutely just dominant. You would take that level of play 10 out of 10 times all year long. Yes, it didn't produce like it probably should have, but it ended up potting a goal, right? Put us up another 3-1 there. Power play continuing to cook with Nico scoring from the Jack play, where he starts winding around the back of the net, tries to put a pass in the middle that almost gets scored. He picks up the rebound behind the net, tries to put it in off the skate, almost scores again, picks up the puck rebound there, passes over to Nico, scores the goal. Jack had basically set up 3 insane chances within 5 seconds, with the last one ending up in the back of the net off of Nico Heischer's first goal. Now, the one that did get called back against him for the goalie interference, I think that was the right call. You can see, even though he was driven into the goalie, the actual forward momentum from the push from the Montreal defender didn't take effect until after Nico's skate made contact and it already started pushing the goalie's pad. And that pushing of the goalie's pad is why the puck went in. It was a fairly straightforward goalie interference, in my opinion. So, don't be upset at that one, because he got it back there on that power play goal. Did get his first of the year. Nico was fantastic. I mean, he almost had another wraparound goal as well in the game. Just really, he had one of his best games of the season so far, I think. Very dominant performance from our captain. If you saw the tweet that I put out as well, quick side note, those tweets are from all our guys from the Devil's Advocates podcast, so you'll probably notice some different tones coming out and some flying out real quickly back to back. That's just because we all jump on the account for different thoughts that come and just let the thing fly. But I put out there, Nico missed that open net, so he could set up not only the Jack not record breaking point, as it turns out, while it's modern era record, it is not actual NHL record. But it also gave Toffoli the hat trick against one of his former teams. So love to see that there for the boys. But getting a bit ahead of ourselves. The penalty kill was all right. Like I said, Montreal's power play is decent, and our penalty kill had been struggling in the preview, and it kind of came to fruition. It wasn't really a full structural breakdown, as we basically just got danced at the blue line and gave up basically a breakaway on the penalty kill and got scored against. So it's not too much to take away from the actual structure of the end zone play. It was just a blue line breakdown that led to that goal against. Really, other than that, from halfway through the first through the end of the game, we just controlled every aspect of that game. Absolute dominance, as we should do against a team like Montreal. They were on a back-to-back, and you can tell their legs were heavy by that second and third period. So that's what you want to see from a fresh team. Moving on into the third, we really continued to play. It wasn't as dominant as the second, probably protecting a lead a little bit more, but they were still really, really strong. Absolutely fantastic play from the boys there. Basically all three lines, especially Curtis Lazar, I want to give him a shout out. When he was on the ice, he was by far our most dominant player in the matchups he was against. Now, obviously, he's not going against Montreal's top line guys like our top guys are their top pairings, but he's our bottom guy, and he goes against other bottom competition, and he cooked the other bottom competition. And that's what you get when you have depth on a team, and that's what you want to see from your fourth line. So shout out to them. They didn't get on the board, but fantastic play, controlling play, and just not giving up any chances against, which is what you want to see from that bottom line. Now, want to touch on the rest of the bottom six with the third line there of Haula, Holtz, and Mercer. Holtz had a pretty strong game. Obviously had the technical 5-on-5 goal, really the power play goal, and had some other great chances, not just setups, but also shots himself throughout that game. But on the whole, that third line was our weakest. Not by a lot. It wasn't as bad as you may have thought. They were just barely getting outchanced against them what they generated for. But it does seem like Haula is working his way through this injury or something. So he'll get there hopefully when he's fully healthy, or maybe we should just sit him a game or two on the back on back for sure. I don't know if you leave it up to the player and the coaches, but it definitely would seem like, in my opinion, if you were to bump McLeod up to that line and maybe Haula down to the fourth just to give him a little bit less minutes. He did get crunched on a big hit as well to start that game, which I'm sure did not help whatever nagging situation he has going on. But third line was really the only one that didn't absolutely dominate from start to finish there. And so, just want to give that a shout out that the third line's still working through something. If you're worried about Dawson Mercer, you shouldn't be. I really think he is working on just different aspects of his game. He's now in a third line role compared to top six. He's now needing to do different aspects of the game at 5-on-5 than he was doing when he was playing with Nico or Jack, who really can control play and dominate. And he was really there to just pick up the pieces and be help be a facilitator rather than just a pure generator like he is needing to be. Also, not just defensively, but offensively there on the third line. So I think it is going to come for him. Just going to work his way through it. Also, selfishly, I'm fine with him having a slow start. We want to extend him for years and years at a good cap hit so we can keep this dynasty in the making rolling. When you have long-term guys, young guys signed up to good AAVs, that's how you make dynasties. And so if Mercer was popping off to start this year, he would probably cost quite a bit. So a bit of a slow start, maybe a lower counting stats year from him, as long as the team as a whole is not suffering from it, is not the worst thing from a selfish fan standpoint. Now, from a workers' rights standpoint, go get that bag, Mercer. Make all that money you deserve. Increase that cap, NHL, so we can get these guys some even more money. Yeah, they're millionaires, but they are workers. Give them every penny that they generate and deserve. So enough on the third line. Again, they were okay. Hull is working through something, so just really... It's three guys that really haven't played much at all together at all in the NHL. So we really want to give them some time, let them work it out. They're the third line, and I think they really will put it together at some point. Timo, want to touch on him. Like I said, he had that hit that led to a goal. He had an assist on the Holtz goal. Another fantastic game from him. You can really see he's finding his stride. It's not just the Jack Hughes show that he is benefiting from. Obviously, it helps, but multiple shifts where he took over zone entries, dominating 3v1. I think he had a zone entry where he forced his way behind the net. Just power forward stuff, doing power forward things. And you love to see that. Hopefully that continues. Confidence keeps building, and actually we'll put the puck in the net here soon, because I think once that first goal comes, they're going to come real quickly, and a lot of them when he finally gets going there. Probably going to take a step back in goals. Definitely going to retract my, if we have a Rocket Richard winner, it's going to be Timo. As long as he's staying on that second power play unit and not the top one, there's no chance that he hasn't making that. But hey, maybe Toffoli will be the benefactor there in that area. As I'm going to come out and say it, I'm going to move over to Jack here. Brat, quick shout out to Brat. I thought he had a solid game, not dominant, but really good. Gets another point, continues to climb the leaderboards in the league for points, and just penalty killing. If anything, I want to touch on the penalty killing from Brat, because while we know what he does in the offensive zone, especially on the power play, they're moving him back to the penalty kill like they had him in his rookie year, and he's been doing fantastically. I mean, the amount of pressure he puts on guys, almost had a scoring chance on a penalty kill, just going like 1v3, being able to replays, steal pucks, and just have nothing generated against him because of his quick play. So that is something you also love to see. So now over to Jack. 4-point night, modern NHL record. Not a playmaker, though, pure goal scorer, as we all know for the Twitter fiends out there. But I'm going to come out and say this, maybe a little controversial. I don't think that was one of Jack's most electric games. Yeah, 4-point night, but I think he just did Jack Hughes things, and the goal scorers, now in this case Toffoli, now that we finally have an actual sniper on this team, just actually put the puck in the net. I really feel like all of last year, even the games already this year, Jack had plenty like this one, where he would just set up play after play after play, and they just wouldn't always get scored. It's just our guys would not always finish the plays Jack would set up, and in this one, they did. I think we have seen much more dominant solo performances out of Jack, where he takes over the game himself, is scoring the goals while also setting up this many, if not more, plays. So, yeah, that might be a bit of a hot take for some people, but that's I'm sticking with it. Yeah, again, as always, he is going to control play. He is going to generate more chances for than there's going to be against him when he's on the ice, and he did that in spades last night, as always. But that's the thing with Jack Hughes, you got to get used to. That's just who he is and how he is. He is going to push play. He is going to dominate on the ice. He is one of the top guys in the entire league. And I, again, already did a video on it, making even more of a case to be the Hart Trophy winner this year. And I think that's where it's going to end up by the year's end, because I really don't see him slowing down. Wasn't his most dominant game, puts up 4 points. And I think if he keeps setting up plays like that, which he's going to, and he does find the back of the net as become his bread and butter a bit, because, as we know, he's a goal scorer, not a playmaker. So he'll continue to cook, and I expect to see more multi-point nights out of Jack Hughes going forward in almost every game. Now, I don't know if he's going to do the Connor McDavid from last year, where there was only like 9 games. McDavid did not get a single point and had more multi-point games than single-point games, I'm pretty sure. But that's where I think Jack Hughes is at so far, and he's still young. He's still not even at his peak age, so guys, Jack Hughes is something special. We're going to keep saying this probably every episode, but what a guy. So quick recap, VTech, amazing game. Don't undersell it. Don't forget it. VTech kept us in this one, especially early, specifically early, but also a few different saves there throughout the game when we really did take over. We dominated play. Sometimes it's hard on a goalie when he basically is seeing no shots and they come down and get a really strong chance. He still made those huge saves. So shout out to VTech for sure on those. Jack Hughes dominant, top 6, absolutely cooked. Third line, a bit of struggles, and our fourth line was fantastic. Penalty kill still continues to try and figure out, but it, again, was not really as in zone as systemic breakdown or anything like that. Was a blue line breakdown. Don't expect too many of those to happen. And as I also did in the preview, Montreal takes a ton of penalties, and we took advantage of that. So now to transition over to our game tonight, as we are on the back-to-back. 7:30, reminder, their 7:30 game versus the Capitals, who also played last night, and put up a shot shellacking on Toronto, but still lost 4-1. Only goal for them was Ovi, who had like 14, 15, 17,000 shots last night. Otherwise, their team really did not do too much. Well, what to say about the Washington Capitals? Well, they're terrible. They had the second worst penalty kill in the league. So while they don't take as many penalties as Montreal, their actual penalty killing is atrocious. So if we get on the power play and we keep cooking as we are, it looks like we should expect another big night from the power play. 5-on-5, they've been doing all right, but do for the most part get keeled in. So expect another big 5-on-5 night. We had the Islanders, then Montreal, and now Capitals. We started out the season against some really strong 5-on-5 teams. Detroit's been crushing it, but we beat them. The Yotes have actually been really strong, and then Florida, 5-on-5 at least, has been solid. And so, we didn't have the best metrics there, but since we've played some of the weaker teams now, and that is no exception with the slow, old Capitals, expect a big game there, would be my prediction. Their power play is one of the worst in the league production-wise, but it's actually been setting up a lot. So there is going to be some regression for the Capitals there. So yes, you're going to see the stat that they have one of the worst power plays percentage-wise in the league right now, but that's just because it hasn't gone in for them for some reason. But they're actually generating a good amount of chances on it. So our penalty kill still is not doing fantastic. It's not, it's technically seventh worst in the league right now. But I don't think from actual on ice play it's been that bad. But I do expect probably a power play goal against us, assuming it works out that way, that there's multiple penalties on both sides tonight. But I would definitely expect us to have the better of that showing for sure. So yeah, Ovi's having a bit of one. He had an insane night last night, so I expect him to take a pedal off the gas a little bit. He really wanted that first goal. He got it. He had an insane amount of shots, and nobody else on that team is really cooking much. So I'm expecting a big one from the boys tonight. Hopefully another dominant win. As, yes, both teams are on back-to-backs, but we're the younger, fresher, faster legs, so we should be skating circles around them most of the night, I'm hoping. Really would love to get the first goal of the game for once. Would be an amazing way to start it, and then hopefully just never take the foot off the pedal and skate these guys into the ground as we should expect. I think that's really going to do it. I don't have too much else on the Capitals. The video is already running a little bit longer, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Shout out to Devils fans. Let's keep crushing it, guys. Keep the season in motion. I'll see you all tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils.